We are tonight's entertainment.
You can't handle the truth.
The fire rises.
Pizza time.
You're a wizard, Harry.
So it begins.
You know how much I sacrifice?
You think that's air you're breathing?
Groovy.
I don't have friends. I got family.
We are Sex People! 1, 2, 3, 4!
Craft Services.
Trent? Is it really you? You're back?
I know. As if my contributions to this podcast weren't insignificant enough. You've really stepped it up recently. But I'm back, baby. I'm back.
Yeah, I'm always looking for a reason to just sort of slowly push Trent out of half of his creation, his baby, if you will. But you'll have visitation rights, you know? That's a little divorce joke. Like
it can be like The Social Network, and it'll be like, and what were his shares? What were his shares reduced down to?
3%.
That's all I have left.
You issued 32 million new shares of stock. How much were his shares diluted? How much were his? Anyways, doesn't matter.
I love filmmaking. Good to see you. You're looking well.
It is good to see you. Thank you. You're looking well as well. Though I have to say, sometimes having a break between the two of us podcasting means that our relationship can really thrive. Because we're not sort of, you know what I mean? Every time we see each other, we're like happy to see each other.
What it means is when you came over the other night, we were hanging out with a small group, and you took me aside into the other room, and you were like, "Hey, Trent, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you." But if we're podcasting too frequently, that it doesn't leave room for that sort of thing.
Yeah, absence makes the heart grow fonder and stuff.
Exactly. But Parth, I've been wondering if you've been leaving room in terms of food, meals, breakfast, lunch,
wow.
dinner.
Trent has really become the transition king in his absence from the pod.
I've been growing stronger, training.
Okay.
I don't know what that was impression of. But
I
what have you been
don't know
eating?
either. Most recently, so I have the thing I ate most recently, but the thing I ate just before that, which is from yesterday, is a little bit more interesting. So I'll say most recently, and then I'll say that. So most recently, I had an Eggo waffle.
Okay.
Chocolate chip.
You just watched Stranger Things or something?
11. Papa. Whatever.
Wait, Parth, I haven't watched Stranger Things for the past, 3 seasons. They still doing waffle bits there? Is that I still go to Walmart and there's
not from what I binged seasons 2 and
Waffle.
3 and 4 kind of like all in once 4 came out, because Sophia had watched 2 and 3 and was watching 4 and was like 4 is like good, and I hate to say it, but like season 4 is pretty good, but I never finished the last episode, so I guess I can't say the whole of season 4 is good, but
I'm willing to accept that season 4 is good, but I tried to watch season 4 and I was like, this ain't happening. Season 3 is where my journey ends. That seemed to be where the cultural
Wait, but then you watched all of it but season 4. I thought you made it sound like you've only seen season 1.
Oh no, I've seen the pandemic allowed for consumption of seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Don't worry. But then by season 4 I'm like, I've seen this exact thing happen one too many times.
Yes, yeah. But anyway, so I had Eggo waffles today, but yesterday I was watching May December, the movie with Julianne Moore and
I want to see that.
Charles
The
Melton.
Todd Haynes.
Yeah, I liked it.
I saw a poster and it said Ma December and it was Octavia Spencer and then Julianne Moore.
Ma, 2019.
Don't make me drink alone.
There we go. But I liked the movie more than friend of the show Sophia Alexis did. But while I was watching it, somebody was drinking like a milkshake, I think. And I was like,
from the movie theater, or they brought it in.
No, it's on Netflix.
Oh, someone was drinking it
in
the movie.
In the movie, someone was drinking a milkshake, and I was watching it at home.
I understand. Is it also playing in theaters?
Maybe like select theaters, but I know Netflix, I think bought it for distribution. But
there you go.
But somebody was drinking a milkshake in the movie, and I was like, I'd love a vanilla milkshake. It's too bad I can't have one. And then I went, wait, I have vanilla ice cream and milk. There's literally no reason I can't have one. And I was like, I got the ingredients, the two, and my blender that I brought with me from college, and blended it all up into like a little drink, and got a straw. And then I was like, this tastes good. Man, I'm a little hungry. I wish I had some pizza rolls. And I went, wait, I do have pizza rolls.
Got those too.
And then so I went, heated up 6 pizza rolls, and had my drink and watched a movie at 11:30 at night. And let me tell you, Trent, I've been really stressed and unhappy the last few weeks, but I was content.
That's exactly what you needed.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring up milkshakes because that sort of ties into my story too. And so let's set the scene. I was sick, or still sort of recovering, but I got Jordan sick, and she was laying in bed last night. And when she's sick more than usual, she can get like anything she wants from me. More
than usual.
So being in a relationship can be sometimes. And she was like, "I really want a milkshake."
Listen to this.
And I was like, "You really want a milkshake?" Or she said, "I really want a milkshake." And I was like, "Great, we have milk. We have ice cream." My line of thinking was similar to where yours was. And I said, "We have vanilla and we have mint chocolate chip. There's a lot of latitude there. What would you like?" And she said, "No, let's go to Wendy's. I want a peppermint frosty."
A frosty?
Yeah. And
now it's $1, but the $1 really, it hurts when you have the ingredients at home.
It is not $1.
It's $2. How much is it? $3?
I think like $3, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But she said...
It's gone up since my day.
So I pride myself on making smoothies and milkshakes. You've heard me drink a lot of smoothies over the years. And
yes.
She said, "Trent, to be honest, I like your smoothies, but your milkshakes just aren't it." And I said,
"Oh, wow."
What about
What a horrible
them?
thing to say.
I said, "What about them isn't working for you?" Trying to get to the analyze
crux of the issue.
And she said, "Well, one time we ran out of peanut butter because she loves peanut butter, and you thought it was a good idea to put Reese's Pieces in and blend them up." And I was like, "Yeah.
How could this be bad?"
And I was like, I was like, that's one data point that maybe didn't exactly shake out. But you're holding that against me for all of time, and that has ruined me milkshake wise. So that hurt my feelings. And then she was like, "Let's just go to McDonald's." And then I was like, "But we're boycotting McDonald's and Starbucks for Palestine reasons."
Right.
And then I was like, "The best I could do for you is Wendy's." And then it still seems like Wendy's, how do I say this, isn't exactly giving their money to the best places. But
Wendy's and McDonald's are owned by the same people, so
yeah, no, I know. I explained.
But we do
what
we can.
I said, "How about we go to Krauser's? I'll buy you chocolate syrup. I'll buy you the type of ice cream you desire. We can work around this. We can help on a global scale." And she wasn't willing to compromise in her immunocompromised state.
So what you had most recently was the Frosty? Or this just ties into that story?
Well, it does tie into that story, and I think technically, no, that was my second to last meal, and then I had a bowl of pasta last night, and then I haven't eaten anything today, but I woke up, my nose was really stuffy.
Yeah, you woke up like 50 minutes ago or something like that.
Yeah, like right before noon. And I like blew my nose, and then like a bunch of like blood came out, and then
that's horrible.
And then I've just been having a bloody nose for like 10 minutes. So the only thing I've eaten today is like the blood that has gone down into my throat. But yeah, we have a movie podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty horrifying. What's not horrifying is the intro. Welcome back to Craft Services, where we talk about the movies. Each week we talk about a film and hopefully have a crew member of that film to talk with us about their experience working on Oh no, I'm blanking on the last two words.
On the picture, last week we had hair designer Kerry Warn, who worked on our film for this week, Stanley Kubrick's final film, Eyes Wide Shut, as well as Mission Impossible 2, The Great Gatsby, Blade Runner, and Blade Runner 2049. Parth, how did part 1 go?
It was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'd say it was pretty freaking awesome. And how's part 2 gonna go?
Pretty freaking awesomer.
Oh, even funner? Funnest?
Yeah, if those were words.
Yeah.
He just continues talking about what movies he's worked on, and let's just say he's worked on a lot, and a lot of cool ones, a lot of cool directors. He talks about Nicole Kidman in this one.
For whom we found
She's on
out
14 movies or something like that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it seems like you worked with Nicole Kidman a second time. And he was like, I've actually done 15 movies with Nicole Kidman.
I knew while you were going to say that. Like, as you were saying that, because when you were like, oh, it seems like you worked another time. I was like, I just know he hasn't seen on IMDb, the list of how many. And as soon as you said that, I was just like, uh-oh, Trent's going to feel like an idiot pretty soon.
No, he was nice. He didn't.
But he was nice about it.
He didn't spike me like a volleyball like he could have.
Yes. Well, he's a nice British man, and no, he was a really cool guy, and I don't know if I want to say any more and just cue into it.
Obviously, no need to name any names, but are there times where actors have a lot of things about their look they aren't willing to change, and you really have to work around that, or in their contract, or?
I think the more successful the actor is, the easier they should work with. In my experience, I've never really had big issues. And I think I think if you present the thing correctly and with sort of some respect to the actor as well, I think you can get around situations. There may be sort of color alterations or things that you need to do. Then you can wig them and try with, to see how it looks, with color changes and length changes and things like that. And you can always take them off if they don't look right.
So on IMDb, you're credited as a future consultant on Back to the Future Part 2.
Oh my God.
What is that?
There's some scenes where they want to do futuristic on Back to the Future. And I was working in New York at the time in the fashion industry. And I got called up, and I don't know who actually put me forward for it, whether it was the costume designer, Johnston. I think it must have been. They wanted some sort of futuristic hair. I think it was meant to be. I even forget what year it was. Was it 2014 or something? It was going into
2015. Yeah,
15.
I think so.
Yeah. I'm wondering, my memory's failing me. And so I thought there'd be a lot of more interracial people. So I decided that most people would have sort of possibly darker hair on set. And I wasn't allowed to go on set because I didn't have a union card. So I had to design everything off set in a trailer and with wigs. And that were put on by the regular crew.
Another film that we wanted to ask you about that I'm sure involves an endless amount of hair and background is Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby. If you have anything you could say that comes to mind.
Well, it was a great. I love the 20s, So I mean, it was just one of those things I'd always delved into in the fashion industry, and then to get a chance to do The Great Gatsby with Baz, and Baz loves hair and makeup and costume, as you can tell.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was a great experience. And I'm just trying to think of. I designed most of the looks, all the looks for the actors, and all the background. And I personally cut about 200 wigs for the background. We had a great workshop about 6 weeks before filming, and we'd go in every day and work on wigs and fittings, and working with the fabulous Catherine Martin, doing costume, and coming up with ideas and concepts, and wanted everybody to look like they're as close to the period as possible, but then push it a little bit further, just take it a little bit further than what they did in the 20s, so it would sort of have a little bit of relevance to contemporary as well, even though it was like tight head with finger waves and split curls around the face, but again, trying to give it a little bit more of a street value rather than just a sort of like just a classic BBC drama, so to speak.
Right. So this is a question that I've always had that I didn't know I could answer until now. But what goes into making a good wig?
A good wig maker.
Okay.
That's the key. And there's some brilliant wig makers out there, and but it's not too much hair in them, and the shading and the color, so you get a cross dimension of color. So it's not a solid look. Basically, you need a really good wig maker, which I'm not.
Do they give you like heads or wigs like full of hair that you can sort of cut down to the size and shape you need?
Well, what you do is you do a mold of the actor's head, so you have a wig made to fit precisely. It's like couture gown. That's the closest I can explain. It's a sort of a pattern that goes onto the head, and then you talk with color with the director and the actors about what color you're going to go for. I have the wigs made, and they're normally, depending on whether you're going to go short or long, as how long you're going to have the hair, and then you cut it into the shape that you require.
What material are the highest quality wigs made of? Is it real hair or human hair, animal hair?
No, real hair.
Real hair?
Real hair, yes. You can't do much with synthetic. And it bounces off the light as well. So it looks ultra shiny. And if you want it to look really synthetic, then I've used synthetic in films when I want the character to look like they've got a shop-bought wig on.
Right. Well, synthetic actually gives a good segue into the next movie I wanted to talk about, which is you also worked on Blade Runner 2049.
Yes.
Which is like an amazing movie. Could you talk about working on that and working with Denis Villeneuve?
Well, going into Blade Runner, I purposely didn't watch the original for many reasons. I didn't want to be inspired too much. I wanted to do Denis' version of Blade Runner rather than, being too inspired by what Ridley had done. And because of the situation where it was set in sort of, Los Angeles, but it was almost like like it could have been somewhere in Malaysia, somewhere, sort of so tropical and humid and damp and sort of post-apocalyptic. I wanted to have that sense, like some of the girls that look like they're wearing wigs, but look like they could have got them out of the bin, rather than too manicured or whatever.
Do you tend to try, just like you said with Blade Runner, do you try to like sort of disregard any other movies in a franchise? Like or do you? Is there any? Is there value to like watching it and trying to honor it, or are you always trying to do your own thing? You know.
We had to honor in Blade Runner 2049 because of we had to duplicate the character, the replicant, and to make it look like Sean Young again, and so we had to do the hair, which was mine was a wig, on a younger actress. So we had to sort of study it and sort of dissect it by stills and see how it was done, so we get the look as close as possible. But thankfully, Sean was on set with us when we were doing those scenes, and she helped me with the hair.
And the last movie that I wanted to talk about that you worked on was Dogville, and working with Lars von Trier.
All right.
What was that like? Because he seems like a character.
Very much so. It was like it's like having an office job for me. It was like we shot in Sweden, and we shot from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m, and in the middle of winter in January, and was all on a sound stage, as you would have guessed from the film. But it's an old train warehouse that we were shooting in, and he had it mapped out like a rehearsal map, which I'm sure you're quite aware of if you've seen the movie. But Lars was great. He was sort of quite a character. And shot, we couldn't go on set. He didn't want us really on set because he had about 35 cameras set up digitally in the ceiling, and they do all the Steadicam himself.
Well, I'm looking at your IMDb, and I just have one more movie I wanted to ask about real fast. It seems like in Margot at the Wedding, you worked with Miss Nicole Kidman once again. You reunited. Is that true?
Well, I've done about 20 movies with Nicole.
Oh.
I've done. No, it's fine. I just designed the hair for that. I wasn't on set with her.
How does it work? Has she like handpicked you to design her looks?
Many times. For The Others, which is one of my favorite movies, The Hours. You don't want to hear the list. I'll bore you to death.
and a lot of A-listers, I'm sure they develop relationships like that one where they just go back to the same person.
Well, I think you start to trust someone, and you understand the way they look and get a sense of what works for them. I did Cold Mountain with her. Oh God, I can't remember how many. But I have a few of my favorites. My favorite one I did with her was Birth. I don't know whether you've ever seen that, Jonathan Glazer.
No, I know that.
It's all set in New York.
Oh wait, yes, I've seen some of this in film school. I just did not know the name.
So sorry. So for a film like Margot at the Wedding, where you're not on set and you're just designing the look beforehand, how are you just provided like the script, or are you talking with the director, or are you talking with the actor, or
I'm basically talking with Nicole, who was relaying it to the director, and then we decided to come up with a sort of like a nondescript sort of length of hair, not too blonde, not too dark, a bit of texture in, not a high maintenance girl. You read your characters and to realize whether there would be a high maintenance woman or a low maintenance, or a girl that has her hair done every day, a girl that doesn't have her hair done maybe once a year,
Yeah. So just we've talked about a bunch of movies you've worked on previously. Is there a movie you're working on now or just finished working on that you could talk about?
I just finished doing a TV drama with Julianne Moore called
Nice.
Mary and George, which I think is coming out in next year. They're just
Awesome.
doing all the promos now.
Parth, do you think it's time for the Big Kahuna final question?
I do.
So our Big Kahuna final question that we like to ask all of our guests, and it's not nearly as stressful as it may sound, is what is the last great film that you watched as a viewer that you thought was great and not just good?
Corsage.
Wow. What is that?
It's an Austrian movie called about Princess Elizabeth of Austria. I thought the hair was brilliant. I'm just talking about hair-wise, of course, and the performance was fantastic, but the hair was beautiful. And I thought, I wish I could have done something like that.
Is there any movies where you like it but you don't like the hair, and that leaves you in a very conflicted space?
I don't want to say
No,
this.
not working on, but yeah, maybe as a viewer. Fair enough. If you don't want.
Sometimes the hair can throw. For me, if I'm watching a movie and it's a bad wig or bad something or put on badly, it can distract me, and I think I lose the plot. I think because I'm busy looking at the hairline or something, or the back of the wig that doesn't fit or whatever. It can be disturbing.
Well, Parth, should I wrap us out?
Yeah, please.
Thank you so much to our guest, Kerry Warn, who's worked on such incredible films as Mission Impossible 2, The Great Gatsby, Blade Runner 2049, and of course our film for today, Stanley Kubrick's final film, Eyes Wide Shut. Thank you so much for being with here today. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Wow.
Whoa!
Now that was an interview.
Slow down, Parth.
Nope.
That interview got a little out of hand there at the end, don't you think?
Yeah, sure.
A little too much fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much to our guest, Kerry Warn, for sticking it out with us. He's a legend of the industry.
It's true. And we
Anyone
appreciate your
involved,
time.
and apparently he's the reason for Tom Cruise's long, luscious locks in Mission Impossible 2. And Trent knows how I feel about those long, luscious
How much those
locks.
mean to you?
Yeah. I mean, the amount of times I've put on MI2 and just there will be a slow motion shot and his hair's just and I'll just literally go, oh, because it's just like so good.
Yeah.
But so we have.
Never mind. I was gonna say something horrible and repulsive.
What?
But
Say it.
And then I was gonna say, then you start unbuckling your pants.
Oh wow, yeah, that is horrible and repulsive. Wow, no, only the best for Kerry Warn.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Super cool guy. Make sure to go check out all his other work. And Trent,
what will we be discussing next week? Will it be
should
our
the listeners be checking out our work?
No, ideally, theoretically, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and wherever you get your podcasts.
And like if you're there, like I guess just like leave a good review for us. Spread listeners.
Spread the good word this holiday season. But I mean, maybe it's obvious, but we have broken our own rules a little bit in recent history. But I think next week it's fair to say, or me getting my wisdom teeth out might fuck all this up, but our next episode will reasonably be an Eyes Wide Shut discussion.
It'll either be that or a Looper discussion.
Cool.
So it's gonna be one of those two. In fact, let me look at because I updated the
calendar.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, so we need to do Looper discussion and Eyes Wet. And our end of year discussion will actually fall on New Year's.
Oh,
So yeah. So cool
We
stuff.
should- we
cool
should
beans.
Yeah, cool beans, Parth.
Cool beans.
Instead of like celebrating the ringing of the new year with any friends or family, we should just do like 24-hour live stream pod.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Trent, do you have any New Year's plans?
Last year I went to Phish at Madison Square Garden for New Year's.
I thought you were saying like you went fishing, and I was like, that's interesting.
No. And I like Phish, but on New Year's Eve they do like 3 sets that are each like an hour and a half long, and then
Wow,
they
that sounds
do,
awesome.
Yeah. And Trent learned that there's only so much weed you can smoke when the concert is
What?
5 hours long.
Wow. Trent learning there's only so much weed you can smoke is that's a lesson I never thought we'd learn.
But what are you doing for New Year's?
It's still a
but-
little up in the air, but I think Sophia and her like roommates from college, like some TCNJ folks, might be coming over. You're invited if you desire.
I was just gonna say, perhaps we'll do that. I should probably stay.
You and the missus can come over.
I should probably stay close to home, because the missus wasn't too happy. I was hanging out with Trey Anastasio last year. Trey Anastasio is the leader of the band, who Jordan,
Okay, yeah.
he's just like a dude. He's just like a nice dude. And Jordan took one look at him, and she hates him. And she says that he's the leader of the Cracker Rebellion.
Wow.
And she makes jokes about him, like, starting the race war and stuff. But it's just because it's like a band of 4 white dudes just like jamming. But I can't get her into it, dude. Story of my life.
But what we want the listeners to get into is our show.
Not Phish, no. Craft services.
Yes.
Which honestly could develop a similar cult touring all over the country.
I thought you were going to
hippie
say
movement.
could start a similar race war, given our dichotomy there.
That was like Kermit the Frog here. Parth, how I want to go out is if there's a race war, I'm on Kermit the Frog's side. Wherever he ends up, I'm on his side.
Wow. And there you have Trent's opinions on the race war that's upcoming.
Thank you to Kerry Warn.
Yes. Check us out next week for either Looper or Eyes Wide Shut. The end of this year has been a little crazy for both of us, I think.
Parth's trying to make a long movie and struggling. Trent's trying to make a short movie, struggling.
Yeah,
they're
it just
trying to
seems
make
like
trying to make a podcast about long movies, struggling.
yeah.
But honestly, at this point, it's just vibes, no?
Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, all we can do are provide vibes. But thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you on the flip side now.
Get you on the flippity flip.